Skin parasites that doctors know nothing about. Hi, I'm Richard Kuhns, a former skin parasite sufferer. Generally, when one thinks of skin parasites, they think of scabies and ringworm, for which the medical profession is well equipped. Unfortunately, I contracted the skin parasites, about which doctors know nothing. I was doing my yearly backyard spring cleanup when it all happened. As I pulled a strangulating vine from a tree, I noticed a cloud of dust descending upon me. I decided to call it quits for the day, took a shower, and thought no more of the dust cloud. I thought it was simply pollen. 2 days later, while visiting my mother, my lady friend Fran and I began itching all over our bodies. The itching was so intense that we were forced to immediately leave her home. Not knowing what to do, we decided to take hot baths as a first step, which provided relief. But within hours we were both itching again. My profession is about managing stress. I had private clients and led workshops and trainings, and within a month my life changed to the point that I was on the brink of a panic attack and even considering suicide. The next few days were horrendous and confusing, as we used everything we could to get rid of them. Anti-itch creams, Rid, Nix. I deduced the source of the infection was that cloud of dust, but that did little good. Soon we realized that our bedding was contaminated, and we began laundering our bedding daily with bleach. We took scalding baths 2 to 3 times per day to control the itching and biting, and made sure all our clothing was laundered with bleach or ammonia before wearing it again. And then we realized that the bugs were all over the house, on the furniture, in the rugs. We noticed small flying insects in the house, and thinking it must be some kind of mite, I ordered diatomaceous earth. I also bought a duster and dusted the diatomaceous earth all over the house. Realizing how prolific the mites were, I treated my front and rear yard and all the shrubs with an insecticide that kills jiggers. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's. Fran went to her doctor, who found nothing, and at her urging he prescribed Elamite. We both used it, thinking life would soon be normal, only to be disappointed to find that within 4 days all our symptoms returned. I went to a dermatologist, who, after observing all the bites and rashes, took a plug sample for an analysis and prescribed antibiotics along with diproline. Again, I had about 4 days of relative freedom, and then all symptoms returned. And then more disappointing news. My doctor called to inform me that the analysis of the plug sample showed nothing. I tried everything I could think of: boric acid, sulfur that I mixed with Vaseline, and I applied it to my skin. I looked like I had hepatitis. My silver hair and skin was yellow. In searching to identify the culprit, I noticed that my arm sparkled in the sunlight, maybe the eggs of the insect. I found an old microscope and took samples from my body wherever I could. I noticed what looked like a microscopic crab, and I took it to the dermatologist, hoping he could identify it, and he said it was nothing. After about 3 months of living in this hell, I experimented with about 30,000 milligrams of garlic a day and found that the symptoms stopped. That was surprising, but after a few days I thought I was cured, and I stopped the garlic only to have the itching and biting return within days. Fran moved away and got rid of her infestation with a product called liquid needles and ice baths. I could never bring myself to an ice bath, no matter how much the itching and discomfort was, and the liquid needles for me were more like a Band-Aid. I relied heavily on the garlic, and eventually was at about 200,000 milligrams a day. I was popping those little round capsules like candy. I really didn't notice any garlic odor about me, so my body must have been using all the garlic, or I was oozing it from my pores and was oblivious to it. Eventually I confided in a friend who suggested that I experiment with the diet. an alternative to garlic. I began only by eating eggs, and within a day all symptoms had subsided. What a surprise! But life can get boring with only eggs, so I began adding one new food at a time. I found that anything with wheat or oats, for instance, caused the symptoms to return. Rice was safe, but fruit was a big problem. Overall, I dropped about 15 pounds, and the next year or so was about experimenting with different foods. Eventually, I found an old-timer doctor who was familiar with bird bites. He described patients standing in front of an air conditioner feeling itching and biting. He prescribed ORAP, which along with the diet enabled me to eventually expand my diet to what I identify as the second stage of the diet. The ORAP was stopped after about 10 weeks, and I remained on stage 2 of the diet for nearly 10 years, during which time I got married, had normal intimate relations, and was free of being contagious as long as I remained on the diet. Over the years, I helped dozens of other sufferers rid themselves of the symptoms with the diet. I also found that the itching and biting symptoms can be caused by several different organisms. Nematodes, or worms such as Strongyloides, Morgellons, Columbella, known as springtails, fungi, and mites. I also learned that Lyme and protozoan infections often accompany the parasites, compromising one's immune system, further complicating any attempts at treatment. And what's more frustrating is that the Lyme and protozoan are not easily diagnosed except for special testing laboratories. I tested positive for Lyme disease and credit my excellent overall health for the 15 years I've had to the diet. Over the long haul, I learned how to get my life back and first published the diet as the King Diet in the late 90s. You can Google King Diet, you'll find it everywhere. Since that time, I've worked with hundreds of skin parasite sufferers and published the first book about the subject. It was first entitled Soothing the Itch Within and the Diet Control It in 2006. The book has just gone through its 4th revision in 2014 and now published as How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites. It has the ABCs of how to disinfect your surroundings, to how to bathe, how to eat to starve the parasites, medications that work, and everything you need to do to take charge of your life so you can get back to normal like I have, where I can eat normally everything I want every day. I learned that there are diagnostic tests for some of the parasites, but with most of them, there are no diagnostic procedures, much less any medical treatment. All of what I've learned is in a book, How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites. It has all the specifics of the diet, the King Diet, disinfection and bathing protocols, medical approaches, including transcripts with specialists in the field, alternative approaches, rifing, vitamin C and salt therapy, bentonite clay, and the list goes on, even urine therapy. How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites is the most comprehensive, up-to-date resource you'll find on the subject of skin parasites or your money back. It contains nearly 20 years of research and is available as either an ebook or soft cover. Read it first before you spend a small fortune on some promise that doesn't work. Go to www.skinparasitesebook.com for more information.